Our word of the week this week has two distinct meanings within one verse. This might appeal to friend of the channel, Steve, who is interested in words that have multiple meanings. And first, let's take a look at it in English with the Koine supplied. This is John chapter 3, verse 8. This is from the ESV, and as already referenced, the Koine will be supplied. The wind, to pneuma, blows where it wishes, and you hear its sound, but you do not know where it comes from or where it goes. So it is with everyone who is born of the Spirit, ek to pneumatos. So the same word is translated the wind at the beginning and the Spirit at the end. But wait, you say, it doesn't look like the same word. Let's look at them carefully. To pneuma and ek to pneumatos, of the Spirit at the end, don't look to be exactly the same word. And that's because we're dealing with cases in our grammatical system that identify the usage of the word. So let's take a quick look at our word of the week, pneuma. Notice I'm saying pneuma because the P is not silent in Greek. Greek generally, with a little bit of an exception within diphthongs, doesn't really have silent letters. So in English we would say pneuma, but in Greek it's pneuma because we don't have silent letters. So let's look at the case system briefly using pneuma as our paradigm. So the nominative case is the case that describes usually the subject of a sentence or of a particular verb in use. And the nominative form here is to pneuma, which we had at the beginning of our verse. The genitive case shows relationships or possession. And here we see to pneumatos, which we have at the end of our verse, John 3:8. The dative case tends to show indirect objects or instrumentality, and that would be to pneumati, which is, we would translate to or for the Spirit, whereas the genitive would be of the Spirit or the wind. The dative would be to or for the Spirit of the wind. The accusative case, which looks identical to the nominative when we're dealing with neuter nouns, which to pneuma is a neuter gender noun, is also to pneuma and would be translated the Spirit or the wind, but as the direct object. Then the vocative case, pneuma, would be, O Spirit or O wind, O Spirit, come upon us, calling out to the Spirit. We're going to skip over the plurals because for our purpose here, we're just demonstrating the difference in the cases, and that's why the forms look different, but it's the exact same vocabulary word. So let's go back to our verse, and please notice that the first occurrence, to pneuma, is in the nominative case because it's the subject of the sentence and it's the subject of the verb. So the wind blows, right? Blows is the verb. The subject of the verb is the wind. And it tells us what blows. The wind blows where it wishes, and you hear its sound, but you don't know where it comes from. Then later on, we get, so it is with everyone who is born of the Spirit. Ek to pneumatos in the genitive case, of the Spirit, because when we use that ek, it needs to use the genitive to help us understand the relationship. Everyone who is born, right? Born what? How? What about them? Of or from the Spirit in the genitive case. So notice here, the exact same vocabulary word is translated wind in the first occurrence and Spirit in the second occurrence. Here's the challenge. If a person wanted to translate it Spirit in both occurrences, there's nothing about the word itself that would preclude that, or to translate it wind in both occurrences. The semantic range of the word allows for that. You could also reverse the order. It could be the Spirit blows where it wishes and you hear it sound, but you don't know where it comes from or where it goes. So it is with everyone born of the wind. It's only the logic of the context and the content in the broader passage that tells us it should be wind in the first instance, because we do hear the wind blowing, the effects of the wind. We hear it, but we don't know where it's coming from or where it's going. And generally speaking, we don't think of people being born of the wind. But that's what makes the word so interesting. It can have these two distinct meanings despite the fact that it's the exact same word. And remember, the case is just telling us how it functions in the sentence. It doesn't change the meaning, the core meaning, the lexical meaning of the word itself. So there we have it, one word, to pneuma, that has two distinct meanings within the usage in this one sentence, and it makes it kind of a spectacular word. It's our word of the week. I hope that was good for you. If it was, let me know in your comments and the feedback. And until next time, Charis Kai Irene Humin, grace and peace to you.